Okay, so have you ever wondered, like, why dragons are so much more fascinating than just giant fire-breathing lizards?
Well, I think the answer might be in how tabletop RPGs, specifically D&D 5e, handle these like incredible creatures.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's this really cool article on LitRPG Reads
Okay.
by Paul Bellow
Yeah.
that really dives into this.
Nice.
He argues that in D&D, dragons go beyond just being typical monsters.
Yeah, you're totally right. In D&D, dragons are like these forces of nature, each with their own motivations and goals that can seriously impact the world around them. It's not just about killing them for their hoard.
Right. It's so much more than that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
think about the classic red dragon,
Yeah.
the one that's often seen as like a symbol of greed and tyranny.
Oh, yeah.
In D&D, this archetype is like super fleshed out
But
with all these intricate details.
interesting.
Bellows suggests that like a red dragon might not just hoard wealth for the sake of it, but might use it as a tool for political manipulation, like controlling kingdoms through economic dominance.
Wow.
Yeah.
That level of strategic thinking totally takes them to another level beyond those like simple, predictable bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're playing this like long game where their actions affect like the whole world.
Right. And this depth of personality goes for all the different chromatic and metallic dragons, too. Like a blue dragon, for example,
Yeah.
might be driven by this, like, insatiable need for control, meticulously dominating trade routes across vast desert landscapes.
And then you have like a silver dragon on the other hand, secretly shaping the destinies of heroes by acting as like this hidden mentor guiding them toward fulfilling ancient prophecies.
Exactly.
Wow.
Bello actually gives this really helpful table in the article that breaks down each dragon type and their typical personality traits.
Oh, cool.
It's like a great resource for anyone who wants to like meaningfully weave these creatures into their campaigns.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of weaving dragons into campaigns, one point Gullo emphasizes is how important it is to role-play their intelligence.
Right.
He suggests that a dragon's presence should be felt long before it's actually seen, maybe through rumors whispered like in hushed tones or the tangible consequences of its actions.
He also stresses that how a dragon talks can be just as powerful as its breath weapon.
Yeah.
Instead of just roaring threats, a dragon might speak really slowly and deliberately, with each word carrying this ancient wisdom that can be both alluring and terrifying at the same time.
That makes total sense. It's not just raw power, but about using it strategically.
Right.
This idea that a dragon might use subtle threats and psychological tactics to get what it wants is so interesting.
Yeah.
It adds like a whole new dimension to encounters.
It makes those encounters way more dynamic, too.
How so?
A dragon might pest adventurers with riddles or challenges,
Right.
to figure out if they're worthy before revealing its true intentions. Bello even suggests that dragons might use illusions or disguises to manipulate people around them, adding layers of intrigue and deception to the story.
Those nuances make a huge difference. We're not dealing with mindless beasts here, but creatures with serious intellect capable of orchestrating complex schemes. The article goes into some potential motivations for these schemes, going beyond the typical desire for gold and power.
Yeah.
It gets much deeper than that.
One really interesting example he gives is a dragon that's trying to preserve balance in the world.
Oh, wow.
Now, this might sound like a noble goal,
Yeah.
but think about what it actually means. A dragon's idea of balance might involve manipulating entire civilizations,
Whoa.
even starting wars,
Seriously.
all in the name of maintaining some kind of cosmic order.
That's a really fascinating concept because it brings in this moral ambiguity.
Right.
Are the adventurers really the heroes if they're going against a dragon that's trying to maintain balance, even if his methods are morally questionable?
Exactly, and that ties into one of the most exciting parts of D&D, the role-playing element.
Yeah.
It challenges players to really think about their actions and the consequences they might have on the world around them. Facing a dragon shouldn't be a simple case of good versus evil.
Bello also points out that a dragon's motivations can be tied into the bigger story of a campaign.
Right?
A dragon might be looking for a lost artifact guarding a portal to another realm, or even manipulating events to make a prophecy happen.
And that leads us to the thrilling part of actually fighting a dragon.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Bello emphasizes that these encounters should be epic events that require strategic thinking and careful planning.
Makes sense.
He suggests that dragons, being master tacticians, might use their lairs to their advantage.
Oh yeah, like what kinds of things?
Think about collapsing tunnels, strategically placed traps, or even using the environment itself as a weapon.
That's awesome.
Right,
Yeah.
it's like the lair becomes an extension of the dragon.
He also talks about legendary actions which give dragons a tactical edge in combat.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
These are special actions a dragon can take outside of its normal turn, adding an element of unpredictability and keeping players on their toes.
It's not just the lair itself, though. Bello encourages DMs to think about how a dragon's personality would influence its combat tactics.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like a cunning green dragon.
Yeah.
Might prefer ambushes and psychological warfare, using illusions and trickery to mess with the party before attacking.
While, like, a more direct and aggressive red dragon might just rely on brute force,
Right.
using its fiery breath weapon and its crazy strength to overpower its opponents. I can totally see a scenario where the red dragon challenges the party to a straight-up fight, taunting them to face its power head-on.
Those are perfect examples of how a dragon's personality should guide the DM's approach to combat encounters.
Yeah.
Bello also highlights the importance of lair actions,
Oh,
which let the dragon use the environment to its advantage.
right.
Imagine a black dragon hiding in its swampy lair, and all of a sudden it makes a geyser of acidic mud erupt right under the party's feet.
Or a white dragon summoning a blizzard to cover the battlefield,
Yeah.
making it hard to see and move while it swoops down from above, using the harsh weather to its advantage. These lair actions add a dynamic element to combat, forcing the players to adapt to a battlefield that's constantly changing.
They also show how important strategy and planning are when you're facing a dragon.
For sure.
It's not just about hitting and slashing.
Yeah, exactly.
Players have to think about their positioning, use the environment to their advantage, and maybe even exploit the dragon's weaknesses.
The article even mentions that dragons might have specific vulnerabilities depending on their type.
Oh,
For instance, a blue dragon, known for its lightning breath, might be super weak to spells or attacks that use electricity.
Bello gives a table that lists some common vulnerabilities for each type of dragon.
Okay.
But he also encourages DMs to get creative and come up with their own unique weaknesses.
That's cool.
This allows for a more personalized approach to encounters, making sure that no two dragons are exactly the same.
This level of customization is what makes D&D so cool.
I know, right?
It's not just about following a set of rules. It's about creating a dynamic and immersive experience for everyone at the table.
Exactly.
Speaking of immersive experiences, the article talks about the possibility of dragons as allies,
Oh, yeah.
an idea that might surprise some players who are used to seeing them only as enemies.
It's a cool twist, and Bello says it can lead to some really compelling stories. Imagine a party seeking guidance from an ancient gold dragon,
Okay.
known for its wisdom and understanding of the world.
Or maybe they find themselves working with a brass dragon, known for its playfulness and love of riddles,
Right.
to solve a mystery that's threatening the realm.
He suggests that these alliances shouldn't be formed lightly, though.
Oh, why not?
Dragons, even the good ones, are still incredibly powerful and mysterious creatures.
It's true.
Their motivations might be hidden, and their methods might clash with the party's sense of right and wrong.
A dragon might offer help, but ask for a high price in return, or its actions might accidentally cause more harm than good.
Right.
This creates a feeling of tension and uncertainty, forcing the players to figure out these complicated relationships and think about the consequences of their decisions.
The article even goes into the idea of dragons as patrons,
Wow.
offering guidance and support to those they think are worthy.
Imagine a group of adventurers chosen by a silver dragon to fulfill an ancient prophecy,
Yeah.
embarking on a quest that will determine the fate of the world.
Bello gives some great examples of how to introduce these patron-like relationships.
like what?
Suggesting that it might start with subtle hints and omens.
Okay.
Maybe dreams or visions that lead the party toward the dragon's lair. Or it could be a chance encounter,
Oh, yeah.
a twist of fate that brings them face to face with the dragon who'll become their mentor and guide.
These encounters would be full of awe and wonder,
Sure.
as the party realizes they're dealing with a creature of immense power and ancient knowledge.
And as their bond with the dragon grows, they might uncover secrets about the world, their own destinies, and the true nature of dragons themselves.
This brings us to another fascinating side of dragons that Bello explores in the article, their connection to prophecies and destiny.
Yeah.
He argues that dragons, with their long lives and deep understanding of the world's history, are often part of ancient prophecies that predict big events or the rise and fall of civilizations.
This adds like an epic scale to campaigns, as the party's actions might be influenced by prophecies involving dragons,
Yeah.
leading them on quests to prevent a catastrophe or fulfill a destiny that's been foretold for generations.
The article gives some really interesting examples of dragon-related prophecies.
Oh, like what?
One example is the Dawn of Twilight,
Okay.
a prophecy that predicts the return of an ancient black dragon, its emergence signaling a new age of darkness and chaos.
Another example is the Eternal Vigil, a prophecy about a silver dragon tasked with guarding a portal to the Feywild.
Oh, wow.
Its presence ensuring the balance between the moral realm and the realm of fairy magic.
These prophecies make the party's actions feel really important and urgent.
You're sure?
They might find themselves racing against time to stop a dragon from fulfilling a destructive prophecy, or working with the dragon to make sure a prophecy of hope and renewal comes true.
And these prophecies often lead to exciting plot twists and unexpected alliances.
Oh, how so?
Like, the party might need to team up with unlikely allies, maybe even their former enemies,
Right.
to achieve a shared goal. The possibilities are endless.
And of course, we can't forget about the treasure.
Yeah, the treasure.
After all, what's a dragon without its hoard of shiny gold and magical artifacts?
Right.
But as Bella points out, a dragon's hoard is way more than just material wealth.
It's a reflection of the dragon's personality, its history, and its values.
Yeah, a red dragon's hoard might be full of war trophies and stolen riches,
Ex-
while a gold dragon's hoard might contain ancient texts and artifacts of huge historical and magical importance.
He encourages DMs to think beyond just piles of gold and gems,
Yeah.
and consider the unique and interesting items a dragon might have collected over its long life.
The article has a table with all sorts of captivating artifacts, each with its own special powers and backstory.
Oh, cool.
For example, the Frostbane amulet,
Okay.
once worn by a frost giant king, might protect the wearer from cold damage and give them the ability to summon a freezing blizzard.
Or the Voice of the Ancients ring,
Oh, wow.
made by long-gone dwarven artisans, could let the wearer talk to spirits of the earth and discover hidden secrets from the past.
And then there's the Time Weaver's hourglass,
What's that one do?
a mysterious artifact said to have the power to control time itself, allowing the user to rewind moments or see into the future. These artifacts aren't just powerful items.
Right.
They're plot hooks waiting to be woven into the story.
And getting them should be a challenge.
Yeah.
Not just a matter of looting a dragon's hoard.
Exactly.
Bello suggests that dragons might have tricky traps and guardians protecting their most prized possessions.
Oh, that makes sense.
They might also use their cleverness and intelligence to make deals or bargain with those who want their treasures.
This adds a layer of complexity and intrigue to the treasure hunt part of D&D. It's not just about beating the dragon.
It's about outsmarting it,
Yeah,
proving you're worthy of having its treasures.
and sometimes the real treasure might not be a physical object at all,
Right,
but the knowledge or wisdom that the dragon has.
exactly. That's a really good point.
The article wraps up with a strong reminder that dragons are complex creatures capable of great destruction and surprising kindness.
So it seems like the main thing we're getting from all this is that dragons in D&D are more than just monsters to fight.
Yeah, definitely. Bello makes that really clear in the article.
Yeah.
He wants DMs to move past that typical image of dragons as greedy hoarders
Okay.
and instead see their potential as these complex characters that can really drive the story. He even questions whether dragons have to be evil, suggesting their alignment should come from their individual personalities and experiences, not just be like a default setting.
That opens up so many cool possibilities for campaigns.
Yeah, like what?
Imagine a world where chromatic and metallic dragons aren't automatically enemies, but can actually team up based on common goals or philosophies.
Or what if there's a young dragon that's been influenced by the adventurer's actions and decides to change, choosing a path of good, even though it goes against its nature?
Those are awesome examples of how breaking away from those old tropes can lead to more dynamic and interesting stories.
Yeah, I agree.
And it all comes back to that key point that Bello emphasizes dragons are intelligent beings who can grow and change and even feel empathy.
So wrapping things up, it seems like the real treasure isn't a dragon's hoard of gold and magical items,
Right?
but all the amazing storytelling possibilities that these creatures offer.
I totally agree. Whether they're scary enemies, wise mentors, or somewhere in between, dragons bring an epic scale and a sense of wonder to any D&D campaign.
A big thanks to LitRPG Reads and Paul Bello for the awesome article that got us thinking about the world of dragons in this deep dive.
It was a really great read full of practical advice and cool ideas for any DM who wants to bring these amazing creatures to life at their game.
What do you think about dragons in D&D? Do you see them as classic villains, unexpected allies, or something else entirely? Tell us about your experiences and dragon stories in the comments below.